everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 19th day of September in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. Nice day here in the Northeast, not too hot, not too cool, not too humid. So hope you're all enjoying the day, and as you do every single Monday, you welcome me into your home so that I might go over the current week's newspaper with you. And as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, there is a big statue on the front page. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this statue, but I want you to read the story, obviously, because you get the full gist of it. Councilman Mike Dollahan is a big soccer fan in Harrison, and he recognizes the importance of what soccer means to Harrison, and for that matter, all of West Hudson. So a couple of years ago, there was this great documentary on Kearney being Soccer Town, USA, and he came up with the idea of putting up a statue that would memorialize forever the game of soccer for Harrison and West Hudson completely. And so, in a couple of weeks, this statue is going to be finished, and they're going to have an incredible unveiling of the statue. And you'll see the dates and all that in the story that Ron wrote. And it's a phenomenal project, and it's going to be a beautiful statue. And this one, the picture that you see of it, it's incomplete, but it's very, very close to completion now. And in a couple of weeks, they'll unveil it for everyone to see, and it'll be part of Harrison and West Hudson lore forevermore. So congratulations to Mike Dollahan and to the Harrison Soccer Foundation Committee that put this all together. It's going to make a beautiful, beautiful addition to Harrison and to West Hudson, and it will forever cement this area as truly the soccer capital of the United States. So check that out on this week's front page. Vinny Autieri is the the Lyndhurst Police Department's Public Information Officer, and he's a part of the Municipal Alliance in Lyndhurst. As it did with everything else, COVID sort of put a stop to the Municipal Alliance. Not a stop necessarily, but slowed things down. But the Alliance is back, and they have expanded. There are new members, and they are working to do more than just educate about drugs and drug abuse and alcohol. They're looking to expand into the realm of mental health, which, of course, is a very important thing these days. So Vinny put this together with me, and I hope you'll take a chance and read it. It's a phenomenal organization. Most of the municipal alliances in our readership area are, but this particular branch in Lyndhurst, they're growing, and they have been doing this for about 7 years, I believe, from what I recall. It started back with John Montillo and then expanded with Mayor Robert Giangiarusso as the commissioner of the police department. At the time, Montillo was the chairman of the police committee and the commissioner of that department at that point in time. So it continues to grow, and they're doing wonderful things for young people in the township of Lyndhurst. Also on the front page, our dear friend does this every year. Marty Nystrom, he was a first responder on September the 11th, 2001, and for 17 years he's been doing a ceremony at Kearney High School to mark the terrorist attack anniversaries. Did so last week, and we have a photo of that. The mayor was there, some members of the council, the school board, school administrators, and some of the families of victims who lost their lives on that fateful day 21 years ago. I know Judge saw Joe Reese and his wife Eva were in the picture. Joe's sister Judy died. She was on the upper floors working for the Port Authority and unfortunately lost her life that day. So Joe was there with Eva, and there were some other relatives of other victims who have a connection to Kearney. And so great job, Marty Nystrom, pulling this together as he does so well every year. Now, you may have known that in Lyndhurst there were plans to re-turf the football field. But it seems to be the case with all sorts of materials these days. There was a difficulty from the contractor getting some of the raw materials needed to complete the project. So this football season, they're dealing with the old turf, and they hope to put it down and get the new turf done by the end of the sometime after the football season ends. It's unfortunate, but it's just the reality of what's going on. There are just there's just a shortage on so many materials, so a lot of projects get pushed back, and that was the case with this field in Lyndhurst. But it's not completely for a loss. They're going to do it. It's just going to be a little bit longer than originally anticipated. As we move along to page number 3, Sergeant Eddie Negron is a retired sergeant from the Essex County Prosecutor's Office, and his story is just one that is just horrifying but remarkable because he survived. He's retired now, but a couple of years ago, he's an early victim of COVID, and he lost and had to have transplants on both of his lungs. I just can't even imagine having to go through such horror twice. But he's a double lung transplantee, and he is still alive and now has retired. And our old friend Robert Florida, a longtime journalist here at The Observer back in the 1980s, wrote this piece, and we share it with you this week on page number 3. And we thank Robert Florida, who is now the spokesman for the Essex County Prosecutor's Office over in Newark. Say, very difficult to talk about planning a funeral, but of course, today being the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, this is sort of appropriate. And in that, many times people are afraid to plan their own funerals, right? But the Archdiocese of Newark is having open houses in the next 6 weeks all over the Archdiocese, where you can go and find out about pre-planning a funeral and cemetery plot and things of that nature. So, we have a quick story here on page number 4 about the open houses, where they're going to be, and the dates and the times of all of them. And they suggest that it's important to plan a funeral and not to leave it to your family to when you're gone. And that's exactly what Queen Elizabeth did. So there's a lot of irony in this story being in this week's paper, because we just saw a funeral today that was as choreographed as any one you will ever see in your lifetime in London. So check that out, and if you are interested, you can probably head over to one of those open houses. There's going to be two locally, one of course at Holy Cross Cemetery in North Arlington, and then the other is in Jersey City, the cemetery off of West Side Avenue. Tim Wagner has a police blotter this week, and while nobody defecated their pants this week, somebody did spit at a police officer. I just can't imagine. Just to think about how degrading that is, to be spat upon and to have somebody else's bodily fluids on you. And this happened to a Kearney police officer 1 week ago, and it's very unfortunate that happens. But the police deal with that all the time. When you deal with these belligerent criminals who really just seem to have no care in the world, it's what happens. And it happened again. But he's got an entire blotter for us, so I hope you'll check that out when you get a chance. My commentary this week goes back to September 21st, 2001. And that was the day that the first sporting event, a regular season sporting event, took place in New York City following the terrorist attacks 10 days earlier. It was a game between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves over at Shea Stadium. I was fortunate enough to be one of the 41,000 people there that night, and I share the story of how Mike Piazza's epic home run seemed to make it seem like everything was going to be okay. And we know now that even though it's taken a long period of time, it is. And at that point in time, just 10 days out, this home run that Mike Piazza hit was something to behold. And I was there. I was lucky enough to be there. And it was also something I will never forget. And I was at Shea Stadium for some incredible moments, including Game 6 and 7 of the 1986 World Series. And being there that night, just 10 days after 9/11, was something I will never forget. But it really did kind of send a message that sports has a strange way of making things seem better in the darkest and darkest of times. Jason Bernstein has 3 sports stories, including something about the Lyndhurst soccer team, the North Arlington volleyball team, and the athlete of the week has returned. There are 2 athletes of the week this week, co-athletes of the week, and they both come from the Kearney High School football team. That's not something we've heard much over the last few years, but it is indeed the case this week. The top 2 athletes in the area are both members of the Kearney High School varsity football team, which won its game last week. So check that out, and we'll tell you anything more than that. There are 2 pages of classifieds this week, so if you're looking for a job, a place to live, anything of that nature, please be sure to check those out. And maybe you'll find yourself a new job if you're looking for work or looking for a new place. Maybe you want to move. Maybe, I don't know, maybe anybody really want to move at this point in time with the rents the way they are, but who knows. So, but if you are looking, we got it for you. It is, 12 minutes past the hour. It's Kevin Knessa here with you on the Observer Live. And that's going to do it for this week's edition. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. Don't forget, we'll be back 1 week from tonight. But, of course, if anything develops during the course of the week, we will join you live where and when it happens. So, from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, it's Kevin Knessa signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your Monday night.